read scriptures from Isaiah chapter 35, verses 1 to 7. The desert and the parched land will be glad. The wilderness will rejoice and blossom. Like the crocus, it will burst into bloom. It will rejoice freely and shout for joy. The glory of Lebanon will be given to it, the splendor of Carmel and Sharon. They will see glory of our God. Strengthen the feeble hands. Steady the knees that give way. Say to those with fearful hearts, be strong, do not fear. Your God will come. Then the eyes of the blind be opened, and the ears of the dead unstopped. Then will the lame leap like a deer, and the mute tongue shout for joy. Water will gush forth in the wilderness, and streams in the desert. And the highway will be there. It will be called the way of holiness. Let the church hear what the Spirit says today.
Thanks be to God.
Be not afraid. If you could barely see over this pulpit, wouldn't you have been just a little fearful? You have my sympathy. Really good things come in the shortest packages, I think. Talking about our problems is indeed our greatest addiction. Break the habit. Talk about the joy. We all know people who live their lives like Eeyore. And if you've not read Winnie the Pooh, then you maybe don't know that Eeyore is this sort of a blue donkey. It's always raining on Eeyore. Life always is hurting Eeyore. And it's always somebody else's fault. We know those people. And most of us have figured out ways to avoid them when we see them coming. That is smart. That's good. That's clever. Good personal boundaries at least give us a chance at health. That same personality disorder of Eeyore's is manifest in a number of different ways. Not just doom and gloom. Sometimes Eeyore's problem comes out in a very rigid, narrow worldview. People around us are not very good Christians. They don't dress right. They don't listen to the right music. They don't express themselves appropriately. They're just not good Christians. And we, of course, are. Those are the kind of people that always look for punishment. I remember being with Terry in Fairfax, California, which is a very small, very upwardly mobile community, with some incredibly generous and loving people. And they're walking us through this community. It's all white. Mixed ages, but it's all white. And we're going to this little coffee place. And I remember saying to this woman, well, we really like Pete's. And the woman says back to me, well, that's not fair trade. I was struck with being in the middle of a place that wasn't fair trade. Although people talked about fair trade, and realized if I'm seeing that in her, that likely means that there's an outrageous bit of snobbery in me. Because I wouldn't be thinking ill of her, except that I recognized it. Do you know what I'm saying? Thoreau said it a little bit better, that evil thing that we recognize in others, we only recognize it because that's us, that's who we are. The very first summer that a niece and nephew came to spend 2 weeks with me before their parents arrived for a family vacation, I lasted one whole day picking up stuff. Dishes, in places that dishes have no business being. And I was up to here by the time I picked up the third pile of wet towels. I didn't even have to use that bathroom. I just happened to glance, and anyway, wet towels. And of course, under the wet towels was a wet bathing suit and wet this. If you have kids, you know the thing. And so the next morning, when they came down for breakfast, I was ready. I had a whole list of what we were going to reap if we took care of our own stuff. You know, like if I don't have to ask you tomorrow to pick up your wet towel, we can spend an extra hour at Barnes & Noble. Won't that be cool? Oh yeah, oh yeah. If tomorrow I don't have to pick up dishes over here underneath my chair, hello, we get to stop at McDonald's. Wouldn't that be cool? Oh yeah, oh yeah. I had this whole list. These are the things that we get to do when I don't have to do your stuff. How about that? Oh, they were both so excited. And I said, maybe you can think of other things that we will get to do when I don't have to do your stuff. Oh. And so Dylan came up with some stuff. Danielle's was maybe the best. She says, if I pick up all my stuff, take care of stuff for one 24-hour period, then I get to cheat at hand and foot, okay? Well, if we don't catch you. And then, as I am just feeling so pleased, I am such a marvelous, incredibly great aunt, Dylan said to me, so what's the list of punishment? There isn't a list of punishment. If we do these things that mean the work of the church, we will all be happier. And that's it. There is no list of punishment. You just won't get to feel good about yourself all the time. You'll have to rely on returning to, well, we've been around here for 140 some years. That's an accomplishment. That's important. But let me just suggest that as people of faith, what is ahead of us is a whole lot bigger, a whole lot more enjoyable, and a whole heck of a lot more important than anything that is behind us. The world right now is changing. Hello. Paris isn't the little place that you discovered however many years ago. Look around here. This church is not the same church that you meandered into however many years ago. There's no punishment list. Oh, for Pete's sake, the Christian church has come up with all sorts of punishments. I remember a kid in my class in Boonville, Indiana, who had polio. And that was a punishment, somebody told me, because her dad was not a good guy. Her mother was not a respectable person, so she had polio. I remember thinking then, if that's who God is, I don't want any part of that. I don't want to pay for what my dad does. I don't want a niece or nephew paying for what I do. I really don't want Dink or Spatunia or Gurney Beautymus to have to deal with my sins. And yet the church persists. There's punishment. Man. We're like little kids getting ready to spend an incredible amount of time at a wonderful place where we get to go to McDonald's and we get to cheat at cards and we get to go to Barnes & Noble and spend an extra hour. All we have to do is pay attention to who He said we are and do it. That's all. Can't you see that that makes for the most amazing, incredible hope? I talked to a woman this morning who was busy way before church doing diaconal work. She's not a deacon, but she was sure doing some deacon stuff today. I suspect that each of you have at different times done those little deaconal things. You've touched people, you've heard what they said, you learned their names, you reach out. Those are the things that we could take not just pride in, but joy. The Advent scriptures that we focus on this year are all from Isaiah. And I would say the one guy wrote the whole thing, but historically it was probably 3 different people. And each of these pictures, one after another, give us a utopian picture of what the world could be if we were open. If we really believed that God loves us. Years ago, I learned the real trick at baptism. I heard pastors and bishops, I heard people for years, and they'd ask the baptismal candidate, do you believe in God? And I would think, that's got nothing to do with that. Even the devil herself believes in God. What is important is this, that you believe that God believes in you. Either God started to work in this place 140 plus years ago, or it was just people. Either this is a place where we are going to work at following Jesus, or it's not. And it doesn't mean that we don't make mistakes. In fact, if you want to see some of the very best mistakes made in 2016, play back my year. I can make you look like amateurs in terms of mistakes. I can do it bigger and better than most people. Which means then I have to do bigger and better stuff behind it. Fortunately, I come from a long line of very strong, independent, and capable people. Be strong, do not fear. That's always the first thing that the angels had to say. Be not afraid. We'll hear that phrase over and over as we move towards Christmas. Be strong, do not fear, because your God will come. And then the eyes of the blind will be opened, and the people with fearful hearts will be able to stand up and feel strong. A highway will be right there in the midst of us, and it will be called the way of holiness. Now, holiness is an amazing word. We imagine that it means something pious and way beyond our pitiful reach. Holiness is everyday stuff. Holiness is getting up in the morning, brushing your teeth, combing your hair, and doing what you need for that day. For some of you, it's getting up every morning and doing what needs other people have. That's holiness. It's spelled with a W. Wholeness. Or as some of the New Age people in Isaiah's time would have called it, holistic. A highway will be there in the middle of us, and it will be called holiness. That's all just a description of what walking with God and in God's path is about. It's all about a way of being holy. Holiness is not sacred and set apart, but holiness happens right in the middle. And so, because I ask you to think about your joy, I want you to stand up, 1 or 2 at a time. One word. What brings you joy? One word.
Family.
Family.
Jesus.
Jesus. I know your names.
Blue sky.
Blue sky. Get going. All right.
Rain.
Rain. Oh my.
Ocean.
What?
Ocean.
Ocean. Yeah.
Community.
Good deal.
Laughter.
Laughter.
Friends.
Friends.
Music.
Family.
Our trout stream.
Not one word.
Flowers.
All right. Keep going.
Health.
Baloney sandwiches.
Oh, bologna sandwiches.
right, Blue. Jason has something.
Jason said.
Julie. Jason.
Jason, what?
Beach.
Oh, okay.
Beach.
Other.
Parents.
Sweet.
Compatibility.
Compatibility.
Babies and kids.
Babies and kids. They're walking petri dishes, darling. Teeth. Animals. All 5 of them, huh? 6. These are pink balloons. Today is about joy. It's about a pink candle about this. Lois balloons up. Now we're going to battle around. John's going to act like it's a honky tonk, and he's going to play something fast and loud. Are you listening, John? That was what I get for getting to say to you. Anyway, blow these up. Stand up. Act like you're 4. Or 5. I've got some more. Stand up, bend 'em around.
Ma, I'm sending you. Spike.
Wait, you should send me. I'm setting it to your mom. Okay, this time.
Game's over.
Just my opinion. But that's what church ought to feel like. It ought to feel like 5 or 9 or whatever age you just picked out. It ought said stuff that was hard, I cried. That's all called real. But be not afraid. You are exactly who God created for this time and for this place. You are blessed. And so you have every reason to celebrate joy all week long. That's really what Christmas leads us to anyway. That's really what Advent